This is part 3 of an ongoing miniseries, so before continuing this video, I would highly suggest watching part 1 and 2. But with that being said, please like and subscribe and enjoy the video. William was getting ready to break into the old Freddy's, but before he could, Mike called. William got an idea. Mike tried telling his dad about what he saw about everything, but William shrugged it off, calling him crazy. Mike always did have nightmares after all. William told him something though, threw him a little bone. He says he might know where Elizabeth is, that Mike had to go put her back together. Mike was shocked at this, but he finally had a lead. After all this time, he knew his father was lying about something, that he was involved in something horrible, but he just couldn't prove it. Maybe this was finally it. Finally the thing Mike needed. So Mike agreed to go down as a technician for Circus Baby's entertainment and rental. William figured he could kill two birds with one stone. Mike was getting closer and closer to the truth, pursuing and following William along like the pathetic puppy he was. Maybe Mike could figure out how to fix Baby, make her remember, and if he didn't, he'd probably die, which suited William anyhow. Mike went down the service elevator as the hand unit talked to him, spouting on about whatever as Mike's heart raced. He didn't know what he was gonna find, but in his heart of hearts, he knew he wasn't gonna like it. On his first night, Mike knew something was wrong. Shock buttons, creepy robot, and then he had to hide from these little mini ballerina things, but that's when he first heard her.
I don't recognize you. You are new. I remember this scenario, however. It's a strange thing to want to do, to come here. I'm curious what events would lead a person to want to spend their nights in a place like this, willingly. Maybe curiosity, maybe ignorance.
Mike felt her voice was oddly familiar. Baby explained what happened the one time she was on stage, how she killed a little girl. Mike's eyes widened in realization as he put together that the little girl was Elizabeth, his sister. She died and William lied about it. He knew. He had to. Mike was angry. Were they right all along? The rumors, the allegations? Mike's father was a monster. He might even killed those kids back in '85. Mike escaped and spent his 4 remaining nights exploring the bunker, learning about William's actions, seeing the power grid that connected to the oddly familiar looking layouts, his family house, threadbales, and another room with 4 blinking dots of animatronics. And Mike's spine tingled as he knew that layout. He spent night after night sitting in the middle of that layout, repeating horrible nightmares again and again. He also found blueprints of the fun times, seeing all their special features. Mike knew that like the deadbeat vampire in his favorite late night soap opera, that his father lied and manipulated him, gaslit him, tricked him, tested on children. Elizabeth needed to be saved alongside the others. If spirits were in them, full, half, it didn't matter. Mike would have to save them. Mike with Baby's help would survive the next few days, dealing with the others and even being kept in the spring-locked jester suit. He survived it all and was finally going to finish this all when he was led into a room he didn't know about, the scooping room. Baby had mentioned it before, but Mike didn't realize how terrifying it was. The metal scooper in the middle of the room aiming at him as the shells of the others were around him, and something appeared behind the glass. It was a tangle of wiles and eyes, the fun times all combined into one creature, something horrifying. Mike was a fool. This was a trap. Baby did say she liked playing pretend after all. They needed Mike, but not as their hero, but as their vessel. If they looked like him, well, they could just walk out, escaping this endless torment. Before Mike could scream, the scooper ripped into him, ripping his bones and organs out of him, leaving a flesh suit left for the newly formed anode to wear. While Mike's week in the rental bunker was going on, William was doing a little B&E. William snuck into the original Freddy's pizzeria and saw the original animatronic. He snuck into the safe room. God, even some of the blood was still there. William smiled as he saw his old friend, the spring Bonnie suit, crumpled in the corner. William wondered why Fazbear even kept it at this point, but knowing them, they didn't want to waste any money. He did know that the Fredbear suit was gone. He wondered why, but before he could think about it, he heard a clanking coming down the hall. William grabbed a nearby tool and waited. Something, a shadow on the wall, led the bots towards the safe room, and William sprung, ripping the suits away, one by one, until all 4 robots were pieces in the ground. William was gonna scavenge the metal when he felt a pressure. Before his very eyes, he could see the spirits all lined up at the safe room door. William was shocked at what he was seeing. Real, full ghosts. One came towards him. It was aggressive. It was the one he couldn't find, Cassidy. William panicked. What could he do? He had to think of something, and that's when he got it. He faced these spirits before at the last location as Dave Miller. Afton knew the mask could work, so he donned his spring Bonnie suit again, laughing at the children, but Afton made a mistake. Afton put on the suit too quickly. He thought he was the master of the spring locks at this point, but in his panic he forgot one detail. One crucial detail. The roof was leaking. Afton laughed at the children. He won again. He beat them again. He was the master. He was the brilliant mastermind. But then, before he could even comprehend what was happening, spring locks went off. Hot, white pain blinded William. The only thing he could do was sit against the wall as he twitched, blood running out of his body as Cassidy looked on at him. She got him. She did exactly what he did to her. She watched as the blood poured on the floor like he did to her so many years ago. The rest vanished back to their meadow. But Cassidy watched. She enjoyed watching him twitch and slowly die. But soon, she returned to her meadow too. The next day, a guard found the damage. The broken robots and Afton in the back twitching. Afton thought he would be saved. He was barely clinging on with all his hate, anger, and agony. And finally, he thought this was going to be his savior. But you know Fazbear. They'd rather not deal with the legal ramifications of reporting this to the police. So the safe room was locked away, sealed behind a wall. The phone guy explained to the employees that all the rooms were being sealed off and were not to be reopened ever, leaving Afton in this endless nightmare of being trapped in the spring Bonnie suit. The next few weeks were a blur for Mike. Mike was still aware somehow. He couldn't control himself though, as the metal wires controlled his sagging body. It was a good plan, but it was never gonna last. Day after day, Mike's skin started to rot. Soon enough, the flesh suit was no good to the animatronics, and they threw themselves into the sewers. But something happened. During the time that baby was within Mike, she found herself. She remembered who she was, and she had a new goal, but not without giving one last message to her big brother.
Die.
She was right. Mike didn't die. He wasn't killed by the Scooper. He was reborn. The remnant healed him, not perfectly. While still technically alive, his body was ruined. Rotting flesh and decomposition made him into a literal purple guy. Something was wrong, and it wasn't just with Mike, but with William too.
It's me, Micheal. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to